to develop your proper capital market, and that the investments keep on flowing to nurture our economy. So if you can share, like, what are the key enablers? We are quite an agile jurisdiction, right? We strict at the same time, but we are agile and can adapt to the requirements of the market. So what do you think is critical for the international investors? We've heard some of the factors in the morning, but especially you and the Oman sovereign funds. What are the key factors? What are the key enablers?
I think I'll answer this question in the context of the Central Asia Fund. So we did a full review on where to domicile a fund, and not surprisingly, AIFC was the choice.
Yeah.
So I think you've done an excellent step in establishing the set of incentives given to the investors, and the jurisdiction and the common law principles that you put in as well. All of these are listed out for anyone to read. I think they're very clear. It's a good step. I think as you progress, couple of options in terms of liquidity, alternative liquidity options, developing your secondary markets. This could be very important into allowing investors an exit. Us mid-cap investors always look for exits and recycling of capital the whole time. Very dynamic. And it's not only Kazakhstan, it's a region liquidity has been lacking. So I think you can be on the right track in developing that and moving it into a modern sort of developed phase, basically. And secondly is having more volumes in terms of the mid-cap, more attracting more investors like us, having platforms like us, more platforms that have pooled investments. And maybe tailor some incentives for those platforms that come in, because these platforms are more agile in deploying capital. They're not so restrictive as individual investors. So I would say, in short, more liquidity options and more tailored incentives for pooled investments and platforms like us.
Yeah, if you can be more like for pooled investors, like what we call them collective investment schemes. We have tax incentives here. We have different structures for your funds, right? Umbrella structure, feeder fund structures, and etc. I think that the issue could be with the fundraising. So you don't come here to fundraise, right? You fundraise at your own at other markets,
or globally, yeah,
or globally, exactly. So when we say like another incentives is maybe being a little bit specific on that.
It doesn't have to be something written. I think the best thing you've done is be open when we come and talk to you. That the best thing you can get from a center like this is that they are open to suggestions and open to any one of us just talking to them and explaining what we need. And you've been very helpful, I think, up to date. And nothing bad can be said about that. I'm just saying in the context of what we've already discussed.
Yeah, sure.
And you were very receptive to it. So it's nothing new. But from our perspective, we'd like to see more of it. Basically more liquidity options, I think. That is the key word. Liquidity, alternative liquidity options like bonds, ETFs, and market making, more market making around. And that will come with volume, basically. I think time will tell, and it will come with volume. We did the right step, I think. We're bringing in a fund that's pulling in a lot of other sovereign wealth funds with high capacity to deploy. We're sizing it to a certain level that is acceptable to these markets, and hopefully we could be an attraction for more funds like us to come in, and that hopefully will create more liquidity in the future. So we're also part of the journey as well.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, this is our joint effort, right, in creating liquidity. And I think also in creating liquidity, it's important to bring, as you said, again, a lot of the new investors, maybe. So I think the big projects, and especially with the well-renowned companies like Masdar, who have experience of structuring financing for big projects in other jurisdictions, including UAE, is key. So if we talk, when you go into the financing phase of this project, can we expect to see, or should we expect to see new names of investors coming into this country? Because like we know the IFIs who already are here, or other investors. Any new names we will see from the project?
No, good question, Rinat. And actually, we've already started the financing process. So we've already started engaging with the multiple lenders and the multiple financiers for this project. It's going to be a mix between both, Rinat. So a mix between, I think, DFIs, IFIs that you have seen, such as AIID, ISTB, and so on. However, we also bring in lenders from Abu Dhabi, from UAE. So we're introducing also, I think, to project finance in IPB in Kazakhstan, Abu Dhabi commercial banks, and we are in active and advanced discussion with them to come to be part of the lending group for our projects in Kazakhstan. We're also bringing First Abu Dhabi Bank to be part of the lender group for our project. But these two banks have never financed IPB projects in Kazakhstan. We're hoping that this will open the door to them to do more and more in Kazakhstan when it comes to the energy sector. I think they already have some operations to some extent in the country, but never in this sector. Right? And we've done similar approach in multiple countries all over the world where we attract new lenders groups to these kind of projects.
Yeah, that's exactly what I mean, right? So the companies like yourself who have been working with your own lenders and investors in other jurisdictions is a great opportunity to bring Kazakhstan and the region to their attention, not someone's, I mean their attention, right? And then they can look at the not just risk profile of the region, but you, because you are the main credit party for them, right? And that's a great to hear that we'll see the more and more new names. Any actually collaboration between do you guys jointly look at the same projects? Any in the region, or you guys are all independent?
Yeah, I think we just met and had an interesting conversation with Omar.
Have a conversation.
Yeah.
I think,
yeah, sometimes you have to travel here to meet your neighbors, right?
So it was definitely a good network, and I think we spoke not just about this region and our experience in this region, but also in the Middle East, and if we can do something in the Middle East. But this, I think, platform connected us not just in Kazakhstan, also globally.
there are some overlapping interests, but I think the key takeaway is it's good to have more than one avenue. You have the large infrastructure investors that actually invest in certain types of infrastructure and developers. You have us, the mid-cap investment, that look for growth capital and support the sustainable growth of the economy. And then you have other large investors investing in different sectors as well. So it's a mix. So you need to have that mix in your jurisdiction.
Yeah, definitely. That's how we look at. We want strategic investors. Everyone, right, talks about the foreign direct investments, which means we have investors coming in and doing more operational work for the state and control. But what we at AIFC are focused on is portfolio investors, or those so-called financial investors, who are actually the source of liquidity, right? Those are the ones who don't have this operational attachment to the project. They came in, they look for the returns, they look for the balance between the risk and return. And of course, the Gulf is now the source of capital. That's where the capital is in today's world, and what a lot of the jurisdictions are looking for. And we are really grateful that we are on the radar and an important point where all of your countries and all of the sovereign wealth funds from your countries are looking for. So if I may ask for final remarks on your views on this Kazakhstan and GCC cooperation from your perspectives, what are the potentials? And again, if there are any asks from AIFC, or please, any thoughts? Yeah.
From nothing in particular, but what I would say is, when we create, from my perspective, we're creating this new platform, this new private equity platform that we're bringing in. It taps into exactly what you're saying: financial investment, no attachment to operation, looking for return, but also it supports growth because it injects capital into certain sectors that supports the growth, makes it a champion, basically. And it will be a shame if we don't have Kazakhstan on this platform. So this is like an opportunity for us to drive this forward. From AIFC perspective, I think I would try to think of something to ask.
Sure, later.
after this forum, since you opened it up.
Thank you.
Yeah. And I think from my side, I just want to complete the story of what happens after we raise the financing and bring in the equity and the capital, right? So a lot of the money that we bring into Kazakhstan, whether through debt financing or equity investment, will eventually cascade down to the local communities, to the local manufacturers, to the local contractors, right? But that's also overall enhances the available liquidity and cash within the local communities, within the local companies, within the local contractors, for even for them to grow more and more, right? So what we're talking about is not just building a project and then we leave it. We know this is something that will be sustainable for overall for the economy. This will increase the liquidity overall within the economy. And this project that we are doing, it will stay for a minimum of 25 years. And we as an investor will stay also for 25 years, and we will look to do more and more projects and bring in additional liquidity in the market.
Thank you, Abdul, for the last remark, because exactly attracting investment is not just about the process, right? Where the final goal is actually developing the economy and helping the local communities and local people and elevating the living standards. Well, thank you for the contributions for this discussion. I think we are a little bit of running late on because lunchtime has already started. So thank you everyone for joining us for this panel discussion. Thank you for the speakers for joining us. I believe in an agenda. We have an hour break, and then we will continue with the schedule of Astana Finance Days. Thank you. And if I may ask the